Seniors, stop eating these top 7 fruits that destroy your leg strength. Have you ever heard someone say, just eat more fruit, it's always good for you? Well, what if I told you that some of the most popular, healthy fruits might actually be the reason your legs feel heavy, weak, or even painful? I know it sounds shocking. Most of us grew up thinking fruit was the ultimate health food. It's natural, it's colorful, it's sweet, what could possibly go wrong? But here's the truth. After 60, your body doesn't handle sugar and certain natural compounds the same way it used to. Some experts agree that certain fruits can secretly sabotage your leg's strength and circulation, leaving you feeling tired and unsteady. On the other hand, some people still believe fruit is fruit and dismiss these warnings completely. So, what should you believe? In today's video, we're breaking down the top 7 fruits that seniors should stop eating right now to protect their leg strength and stay independent. And don't worry, I'll also share what you can eat instead so you don't feel deprived. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend or loved one who cares about staying strong, and subscribe to our channel. Your support gives us the motivation to keep creating these helpful, science-based health tips just for you. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Some of the fruits on this list might be sitting in your kitchen right now. One of them might even be the one you reach for every morning, thinking you're making a healthy choice. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's uncover the surprising truth together. Your legs and your future self will thank you. Let's get started. The aging body. Why fruits hit differently after 60. As a doctor who has spent over 40 years studying human metabolism and aging, I've realized a crucial truth. The body you have at 60 is simply not the same as the one you had at 40. Our ability to process sugar declines, our circulation becomes less efficient, and our muscles become more vulnerable to injury and slower to repair. Small choices that seemed harmless in our younger years, like having a banana or sipping on orange juice, might now quietly undermine our strength without us even realizing it. I've met hundreds of patients, from lifelong runners to casual walkers, who thought they were eating perfectly healthy diets. Yet they complained of heavy legs, sudden cramps at night, and poor balance. When we looked closer, their healthy fruit habits often turned out to be the hidden reason. Take Mr. Tanaka, an 82-year-old gardener who started every day with orange juice, a banana, and a handful of raisins. He believed he was fueling his body, but by mid-morning he felt lightheaded and had to sit down. After checking his blood sugar, we saw massive spikes followed by crashes. These swings damaged the tiny blood vessels in his legs, making them weaker and less stable. Once he switched to lower sugar fruits like berries and added some protein and healthy fats, he regained his energy and could garden without needing frequent breaks. After 60, our bodies lose muscle faster in a process called sarcopenia, which can reduce muscle mass by up to 25% by age 70. That loss makes every movement, from climbing stairs to simply standing up, feel heavier and more exhausting. Meanwhile, the blood vessels that feed those muscles become stiffer and more fragile, meaning any blood sugar spikes hit them even harder. If you've ever felt your legs heavy after breakfast or found it harder to get up from a chair after lunch, it's not just in your head. A 2018 study in the Journal of Gerontology showed that older adults with higher glycemic diets had slower walking speeds and poorer balance, regardless of exercise levels. I've seen this firsthand in my own life too. At 68, I used to start my mornings with an apple and carrot juice, thinking I was making a healthy choice. But my morning walks began feeling harder, and my legs felt like concrete blocks. After analyzing my blood sugar responses, I realized my healthy breakfast was setting me up for failure. Now I start my day with eggs, avocado, and a handful of berries. The difference is incredible. I feel lighter, steadier, and more energized throughout the day. Our bodies over 60 can't handle big sugar hits without paying the price. Fruits that once gave us quick energy can now cause inflammation, disrupt circulation, and drain our strength if we aren't careful. Before you reach for that fruit bowl tomorrow morning, ask yourself, what does my body need to feel strong today? Aging isn't about giving things up, it's about making smarter choices that match who we are now. We've earned our wisdom. Now it's time to use it to stay strong, steady, and independent for many years to come. Let's start with the 7 fruits that are secretly harming your legs. Number 1, grapes, the sweet saboteur. They're often advertised as nature's candy, sweet, juicy, and easy to grab by the handful. But what most people don't realize is that grapes are extremely high in fructose. Unlike glucose, which your muscles and brain can use right away, fructose has to be processed by your liver first. As we age, our liver function naturally slows down, making it harder to clear that extra fructose. This leads to increased uric acid levels and lowers nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps blood vessels open and flexible. Imagine trying to water your garden with a kinked hose. That's what happens when your blood vessels tighten up. Your legs don't get enough oxygen and nutrients, so they feel heavy, stiff, and slow to recover after even the simplest activities. I always ask my patients, have you ever stood up after sitting for a while and felt like your legs weighed a ton? Or tried to climb the stairs and felt like each step was a major effort? If so, it might not just be aging. Your love for grapes could be playing a bigger role than you think. I had a patient, Lee, 72 years old, who loved snacking on grapes every evening while watching TV. She believed they were a healthy, harmless choice, but she constantly complained about swollen ankles and legs that felt like cement blocks. When we reviewed her eating habits, grapes came up again and again. I suggested she swap them for blueberries, which are lower in sugar and higher in antioxidants, and pair them with a handful of walnuts for protein and healthy fat. Within a few weeks, she noticed her legs felt lighter, the swelling reduced, and she was finally able to enjoy her evening walks again. Scientific studies back this up too. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition links high fructose intake to increased uric acid and higher blood pressure risk, especially in older adults. Another study in the Journal of Vascular Research showed that low nitric oxide levels can weaken leg muscles by restricting blood flow and slowing down recovery. Speaking from personal experience, as someone in my late 60s, I used to think nothing of eating a big bowl of grapes in the summer. But afterward, I always felt sluggish on my evening walks and woke up the next day with achy legs. Once I switched to a small portion of berries with some nuts or cottage cheese, I felt more energetic and steady on my feet. So before you reach for that big bunch of grapes, ask yourself, is this going to support my strength and balance, or make me feel heavy and tired later? Small changes in your snack choices can make a huge difference in how your legs and your whole body feel every single day. Number 2, bananas, the innocent trap. Bananas have a reputation for being gentle on the stomach and a great source of potassium, so they're often seen as a perfect snack, especially for seniors. But while they do contain potassium, they're also packed with simple carbs that digest quickly and cause a big spike in blood sugar. As we age, most of us develop some level of insulin resistance, which means our bodies can't handle these sudden sugar surges as easily as they once did. Even one banana can send blood sugar soaring and then crashing, putting a lot of stress on the small blood vessels in our legs and feet. These vessels are crucial for keeping our muscles nourished and our balance strong. Have you ever felt weak or shaky a few hours after breakfast, or noticed your legs feel heavy by mid-morning? That's often the hidden impact of high-sugar fruit like bananas. Many older adults grab a banana alone or pair it with toast and coffee, which is basically a triple hit of carbs without any protein or healthy fats to slow things down. This leads to that classic mid-morning energy crash, leaving you feeling tired and unsteady. I had a patient named Harold, a retired engineer who used to eat a banana every morning before his walk. By the time he got halfway through the park, he felt completely drained and had to sit down. We switched his routine to half a banana with a handful of almonds for extra protein and fat, and within weeks, he felt more energetic and could finish his entire walk without stopping. Studies back this up too. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that even moderate glycemic fruits like bananas can cause big blood sugar swings in older adults. Another study in the Journal of Nutrition and Healthy Aging found these swings are closely linked to muscle weakness and higher fall risk. Speaking for myself, I used to eat a banana with my morning coffee before gardening. I thought it was a light, healthy start, but I often felt shaky and had to stop early. When I started pairing a small piece of banana with Greek yogurt or some walnuts, I felt steady and strong through the whole morning. So next time you reach for a banana, ask yourself, will this help me stay strong and balanced all morning, or leave me crashing before lunch? Adding just a little protein or fat can make all the difference in how your body handles that sweet fruit and keep your legs feeling solid and dependable. Number 3, pineapple, the tropical backstabber. Pineapple is often celebrated for bromelain, an enzyme that helps with inflammation, and it feels like a fun, healthy choice. But most people don't realize how high in sugar and acid it is. As we get older, the lining of our blood vessels becomes thinner and more fragile, so excess sugar and acidic foods can easily trigger low-grade inflammation and fluid retention, especially in the legs and ankles. Have you ever felt like your legs get puffy or tight by the afternoon, even if you didn't eat a salty meal? That's not just getting older. It could be the hidden effects of pineapple and similar fruits. Swelling in the legs isn't just about appearance. When your legs are swollen, oxygen and nutrients can't get to your muscles efficiently, making your legs feel heavy and slowing down recovery after activity. A study from Clinical Interventions in Aging found that even mild fluid retention in older adults is linked to slower walking speeds and weaker leg strength. I had a patient named Susan, a 68-year-old retired dancer, who started every morning with a big pineapple smoothie. She thought it was the ultimate clean, healthy breakfast. But by afternoon, she felt her calves tighten and described her legs as ballooning, which kept her from joining her afternoon dance classes. We swapped her smoothie for a mix of berries and yogurt, which are lower in sugar and easier on circulation. Within a few weeks, she felt lighter on her feet and started dancing again without that heavy, dragging feeling. In my own life, I used to love adding pineapple to my morning fruit bowls. But I started to notice that my ankles felt tight and my legs felt heavy by the end of the day. When I switched to berries and added some pumpkin seeds for extra minerals, my legs stayed light and I felt more energetic throughout the day. So the next time you reach for pineapple in the morning, ask yourself, is this going to keep me light and active today, or will it make my legs feel like lead by dinner? Paying attention to these small details can make a huge difference in how strong and free your legs feel as you age. Number 4, watermelon, the hydration illusion. On a hot summer day, nothing feels better than biting into a cold, juicy slice of watermelon. But for seniors, it's not always as harmless as it seems. Watermelon ranks very high on the glycemic index, which means it sends a big, fast sugar hit straight into your bloodstream. It also lacks fiber, protein, and fat to slow that spike down, making it more likely to leave you feeling drained later. Have you ever had your legs cramp up at night, or felt them twitchy and restless when you're trying to sleep? Many people think it's just dehydration, but eating too much watermelon can actually dilute important electrolytes like potassium and magnesium, leading to cramps, weakness, and that uncomfortable restless leg feeling. I had a patient named George, 75 years old, who loved eating nearly half a watermelon after gardening. He thought he was rehydrating, but later he'd wake up at night with painful leg cramps. We switched his routine so he ate a smaller portion and added some pumpkin seeds or a little miso soup to help replace lost minerals. Soon after, his cramps disappeared and he started sleeping through the night. A study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging confirmed that muscle cramps in older adults often happen not just from dehydration but from low mineral levels, especially when diets are heavy in watery fruits and low in other nutrients. In my own experience, I used to eat big bowls of watermelon after working in the yard and would end up tossing and turning at night with tight calves. When I started adding a handful of almonds or a boiled egg alongside my watermelon, the cramps stopped and my legs felt steadier. So before you reach for that giant bowl of watermelon, ask yourself, am I really helping my body stay strong, or am I setting myself up for a restless night? A few small changes can make a big difference in how you feel. Number 5, dried fruits, sugar in disguise. Raisins, dates, and dried mangoes are often marketed as healthy snacks, but they're really just sugar bombs in disguise. When fruit is dried, the water disappears but the sugar stays, making it extremely concentrated. Just a small handful can have as much sugar as a full can of soda. That sudden hit of sugar overwhelms the small blood vessels in your legs and feet, which are already more fragile as we age. This can make your legs feel heavy, weak, and more prone to fatigue and balance problems. Have you ever felt shaky or unsteady in the evening after grabbing a handful of trail mix? You might think it's because you didn't eat enough or that you're just tired, but those dried fruits could be quietly draining your strength. I had a patient named Evelyn, 69, who loved her afternoon trail mix with dried cranberries. She thought it was a smart, energizing snack, but every evening she felt wobbly and sometimes even skipped her walks because she was afraid of falling. We swapped her dried fruit for fresh apple slices and walnuts, adding some healthy fat and fiber to help keep her blood sugar steady. Within weeks, she felt more stable, had more energy, and even started enjoying longer evening walks again. Studies confirm this too. Research in the Journal of Gerontology found that high-sugar snacks in older adults are linked to weaker legs and slower walking speeds. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that sugar from dried fruit can spike your blood sugar just as fast as candy or soda. From my own experience, I used to put a few dates or dried apricots in my oatmeal, thinking I was making a healthy choice. But I noticed my legs felt heavy and my energy tanked by late morning. When I switched to fresh berries or an apple, that heavy feeling disappeared and I felt stronger throughout the day. So before you reach for that handful of dried fruit, ask yourself, is this really helping me stay strong and steady, or is it setting me up for a crash? Choosing fresh fruit with some protein or healthy fat can keep your legs feeling light and your balance solid as you go about your day. Number 6. Fruit juice liquid trap. Freshly squeezed juice sounds pure and healthy, but it's really just liquid sugar without the fiber that slows digestion. Without that fiber, the sugar rushes straight into your bloodstream, spiking insulin and giving you a quick burst of energy followed by a big crash. Over time, these repeated spikes damage blood vessels, weaken your legs, and lower your overall endurance. Have you ever felt that sudden urge to nap around noon, even after what felt like a healthy breakfast? It might not just be age catching up. It could be that morning glass of juice. I had a patient named Linda, 71, who swore by her big glass of freshly squeezed orange juice every morning. She thought it gave her an energy boost, but by lunchtime she felt drained and needed to rest. We swapped her juice for a whole orange paired with cottage cheese to add protein and slow the sugar hit. She was amazed at how much steadier and stronger she felt throughout the day, without those midday energy crashes. Studies back this up too. Research from Harvard shows that older adults who drink fruit juice regularly have a higher risk of type 2 diabetes and worse vascular health. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that eating whole fruits, thanks to their fiber, leads to a slower rise in blood sugar and helps keep energy levels stable. In my own experience, I used to drink carrot or apple juice every morning thinking I was making the healthiest choice. But by mid-morning, I felt shaky and needed a snack. When I switched to whole fruit with some nuts or yogurt, I felt strong and steady all morning, even during long walks or working in the yard. So before you pour that next glass of juice, ask yourself, is this going to keep me strong and steady, or will it leave me crashing before lunch? Choosing whole fruits with some protein or healthy fat can make a big difference in keeping your energy up and your legs feeling strong. Number 7. Canned fruit, the soft threat. Canned fruits are popular in many senior facilities because they're soft, easy to chew, and seem like a gentle choice. But they're usually packed in syrup or sweetened juice, which means they deliver a big hit of fructose along with preservatives and additives. This combination can harm blood vessel health, increase inflammation, and speed up muscle weakness, especially in the legs. Have you ever checked the label on a can of peaches or fruit cocktail? You might be surprised at how much sugar is actually in there. At a local nursing home I worked with, I noticed that residents who regularly ate canned peaches often had swollen legs and higher fall rates. Their legs would feel heavy and puffy, and many felt unsteady when standing up or walking. We decided to switch from canned fruits to fresh options or lightly steamed fruits without added sugar. Within a few weeks, there was a noticeable improvement, less swelling, better balance, and more confidence when moving around. Research backs this up too. A study in the Journal of Gerontology found that diets high in processed fruit products are linked to slower walking speeds and higher inflammation markers. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that added sugars in processed fruit can lead to greater muscle loss in older adults. From my own experience, I used to enjoy canned mandarin oranges because they were easy and felt light. But over time, I noticed my ankles would swell in the evenings and my legs felt heavy when getting up from my chair. When I switched to fresh orange slices or lightly steamed apples with cinnamon, that swelling went away and my legs felt stronger and more stable. So the next time you reach for a can of fruit, ask yourself, is this helping me stay strong and balanced, or is it quietly making my legs weaker? Choosing fresh or lightly cooked fruits without syrup can keep your blood vessels healthy, your legs stronger, and help you stay steady and independent as you age. The body speaks. Are you listening? Many seniors brush off leg heaviness, cramps, or swelling as just part of getting old, but these are really messages from your body asking for attention. Your body is always talking to you. It tells you when something you ate isn't working or when your circulation needs help. Have you ever noticed your legs feel heavier after certain fruits, or that you feel more tired after a healthy snack? These patterns aren't random, they're clues. A study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that older adults who paid closer attention to these small body signals were better at avoiding falls and staying independent longer. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that people who tracked how food affected their bodies had more energy and better mobility overall. I always ask my patients, after that snack, do you feel ready to move or do you feel like lying down? That simple question often opens their eyes. From my own experience in my late 60s, I used to feel my legs get heavy and my ankles swell after certain fruits, especially big fruit bowls or juice. Once I started paying attention and writing down what I ate and how I felt afterward, I saw clear patterns. By swapping certain fruits and pairing them with protein or healthy fats, my legs felt lighter and I had more steady energy throughout the day. So next time you feel that unexpected heaviness or a sudden cramp, ask yourself, what did I eat today? Your body is giving you feedback every day. The question is, are you really listening? What you should eat instead. Not all fruits are villains. In fact, some can be your best allies as you age, especially those lower in sugar and higher in antioxidants like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, pomegranates, and kiwi. These fruits support healthy blood vessels, improve circulation, and help repair muscles, all of which keep your legs strong and your energy steady. Have you ever swapped your usual fruit for a bowl of mixed berries and noticed you feel lighter and more energized afterward? Pairing fruit with protein or healthy fats is a game changer. When you combine fruit with Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, nuts, seeds, or avocado, you slow down sugar absorption and avoid those big energy crashes. For example, instead of eating a banana alone, try half a banana with some almond butter or a handful of walnuts to keep you fuller and steadier. Adding magnesium and potassium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach, avocado, and salmon can also make a big difference. These minerals help keep your muscles strong and prevent cramps. A study from the Journal of Nutrition found that older adults who consumed more magnesium had better muscle strength and lower fall risk. Another study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition linked higher potassium intake to improved muscle performance and balance. In my own life, I used to start my mornings with a big fruit salad thinking it was the healthiest choice, but I always felt an energy crash mid-morning. When I switched to berries mixed with Greek yogurt and a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds, my energy stayed stable and my legs felt stronger on my daily walks. So next time you're picking your fruit or planning a snack, ask yourself, how can I make this support my strength and balance? Small adjustments can make a huge difference in helping you stay active, independent, and confident as you age. Practical strategies. A few simple changes to your daily routine can make a huge difference in how steady and strong your legs feel. For breakfast, instead of banana toast, try a bowl of unsweetened Greek yogurt with berries and chia seeds. This combo gives you protein, healthy fats, and fiber to keep your blood sugar steady and your energy up all morning. Have you ever noticed how different breakfasts make you feel? Next time, pay attention to whether you feel ready to move or tired before lunch. For snacks, swap out dried fruit trail mix for raw nuts and fresh apple slices. Dried fruits are loaded with sugar, while nuts and apples offer crunch, natural sweetness, and healthy fats that help keep your balance strong and muscles fueled. When it comes to hydration, instead of eating huge bowls of watermelon or drinking sugary drinks, try infused water with lemon and a pinch of sea salt. This helps replace electrolytes and keeps you refreshed without the sugar spike. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that seniors who maintain better electrolyte balance have fewer leg cramps and stronger muscles. In the evening, skip the fruit juice or canned fruit and enjoy fresh berries with a handful of walnuts. This supports muscle repair overnight and helps avoid blood sugar swings before bed. From my own experience, I used to have orange juice at night and always woke up feeling heavy and stiff. When I switched to berries and nuts, I started waking up with more energy and my legs felt lighter. Alright, so we've just uncovered the surprising truth about those 7 healthy fruits that might be secretly weakening your legs. Remember, it's not about fearing fruit or cutting it out completely. It's about making smarter choices as your body changes with age. After 60, your circulation slows, your muscles need more support, and the foods you eat play a huge role in how strong and steady you feel every day. By avoiding these high-sugar fruits and choosing lower-sugar, antioxidant-rich options instead, you can protect your leg strength, improve your balance, and keep your independence for years to come. I always say, the fruit you choose today is the strength you carry tomorrow. Start listening to your body, pay attention to how you feel after each meal, and don't be afraid to make small adjustments that can lead to big changes in your energy and mobility. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with your family and friends, especially those who love fruit a little too much. And subscribe to our channel for more simple, science-backed tips to help you stay strong and independent. Take care of your legs, take care of your health, and I'll see you in the next video.